So it's finally time for UFC 317, and the main event is Charles Oliveira versus Ilia Topuria, and it's straight up one of the most anticipated matchups of 2025. Not quite Topuria versus Makhachev, but a super exciting fight nonetheless. If Topuria wins, he's gone on the most impressive 3-fight win streak in history, and if Oliveira wins, he adds another insane name on his resume. But enough with the yapping, let's get into the specifics, and you already know how it go. Let's go over the strengths and weaknesses of each fighter. So Topuria's biggest strength is his boxing. He's the best boxer in the UFC in my opinion, and his boxing just basically consists of pressuring his opponents, closing the distance in the mid-range, and unloading hooks, overhands, uppercuts, everything. And on top of his skill, he has stupid power as well. He's the only man to knock out Holloway. Do I need to say more? He also has solid grappling as well. A lot of people don't know this, but when he was on the come up, he was actually more of a grappler who somehow developed an elite striking game. And I also forgot to mention this, but he has a pretty mean calf kick as well. Now his biggest weakness in my opinion are kicks, especially leg kicks and oblique kicks, because he stands solely leg heavy and actually a little bit bladed too, which makes it very hard for him to check leg kicks, and it also just adds that perfect angle to the oblique kicks. And he also drops his hand sometimes when he's throwing combinations. Now when it comes to Oliveira, his biggest strength is of course his grappling. He has an absolute elite submission game, most submissions in the UFC I believe, but he also has an elite striking game as well, and he fights pretty similar to a Thai boxer on the feet, stands pretty tall, uses a lot of teeps, elbows, knees, clinch, and he also has really solid power as well as great precision on his strikes. Now his biggest weakness is of course his defense. He's very hittable, never moves his head off the center line, and gets hurt badly in almost every single fight. And he's also kind of relaxed after attacking, which makes him pretty susceptible to counters in my opinion. And he also doesn't fight well off the back foot. But let's go over the win conditions for each fighter, and we'll start with Ilia Topuria. Now his way to victory in this fight is to make use of his best weapon, aka his boxing, and in order to do that, he's gonna have to pressure forwards and force Oliveira into boxing exchanges, where Topuria has an extremely high chance of chinning him. And he's also gonna want to avoid the grappling at all costs, because that is where Oliveira is the most dangerous, except if he knocks him down, because then he's obviously gonna want to follow him down and finish the fight. Now Oliveira's way to victory is to use a lot of kicks in this fight, especially teeps to keep Topuria at range, and knee stomps and leg kicks, which Topuria is extra susceptible to. And he's also going to want to avoid boxing exchanges at all costs. But if Topuria closes distance, instead of trying to stand and bang with him, Charles is going to want to use his clinch game, man. It's an age-old strategy against good boxers, and Oliveira is also a beast in the clinch as well. He has nasty knees and elbows, and from the clinch, he's also going to be able to take this fight to the ground, where he does his best work in my opinion. So how do I, the MMA realist, think this fight is going to go? I think there's a lot of different factors to consider when breaking down this fight. First of all, we can discuss the grappling, and I do believe Charles can take down Ilia Topuria, and on the ground, he does have the ability to finish this fight. However, you have to take into consideration that Topuria is quite a solid grappler himself. He actually came up as a grappler, and he has a background in Greco-Roman wrestling and BJJ I believe. And he also did defend a lot of takedowns from Bryce Mitchell, but he also did get taken down and held down for some time. And Mitchell is a very solid grappler, but he's not on Oliveira's level, let's be real. So from this we can conclude that Oliveira can cause trouble for Topuria on the ground and potentially even finish the fight. However, Topuria is no Gaethje on the ground. He can hold his own and survive if he gets taken down. And something that does work in his favor here is that he's shorter by a decent amount, which makes it harder for Oliveira to get to his legs. Now when it comes to the striking, Oliveira also has insane finishing ability, great power in everything he throws, and he has a wide variety of weapons like his elbows, kicks, knees, and punches. And that's something Topuria doesn't really have. Topuria really only has a calf kick and his boxing. But to be fair, he's absolutely maxed out in that stat. And both of these guys are pressure fighters on the feet. Both want to get into exchanges where they can utilize their superior power. And I just don't think you want to collide head on with Topuria. He's so insanely good at fighting the shin, and he has different power as well. But his power is not gonna translate, dude. Yes it is, man. First of all, he sent Jai Herbert flying in their lightweight fight. Literally, like, dude, I thought he was gonna go out the octagon, man. And he also shattered one of the best chins of all time. Holloway had never been knocked out before and barely even dropped in his career, even though he's fought lightweights with popular shots like Poirier and Gaethje. Plus, I'd argue that if you go up in weight, your power also goes up, since you weigh more. I know, man, crazy take, man, crazy take, man. But Topuria's been putting on muscle, he's been density maxing, as Lucas Tracy says, so there might be a chance we see an even more powerful Topuria that's also gonna carry that lighter man skill with him. But I will say though, lightweights on average have more power than featherweights, of course, which is gonna matter in this fight. Topuria just can't cruise forwards on the feet like he did against Volk and Holloway, for example, because these guys throw pitter-patter shots compared to Oliveira, and Topuria has a style where he goes head first into danger, and that's how he got caught by Jai Herbert. And Charles also has a style like that, but he still gets cracked way more often than Topuria, because his defense is just non-existent for some reason. I think it has to do with his eyesight or something. Maybe he did get that fixed in the Islam Makhachev fight, I don't really remember. But he's a little bit of a glass cannon, man, you know. He can deliver the damage, but he can't really take it. And he also doesn't nearly have the same finesse with his hands as Topuria either, so that puts him at a serious disadvantage when they both collide. And Topuria is constantly gonna want to get into mid-range, because otherwise he can't deliver the goods, man. So I just can't see him backing up against Oliveira, and I can't see Oliveira going in with a game plan to back up either, because he just doesn't fight well on the back foot. His style is constantly reliant on going forward. He needs to press forwards and get his opponents to the cage in order to get takedowns and in order to tee off on them. So I just think that's way too risky against Topuria, who's also gonna want to move forwards. Now Oliveira is a wild man, I'll give him that, so he might catch Topuria with something crazy, and once Oliveira rocks you, it's kinda over, man. He's gonna be all over you, no Jones. And that's kind of the only way I see Oliveira winning this, and I just think that's less likely than Topuria dusting his shin. Now Oliveira can use the kicks and knee stomps, which I think can work really well for him here, but he just is one of these guys that needs to move forward in order to win, and that's just way too dangerous against Topuria. Topuria has found a way to chin Holloway, who's way more defensively sound and has a better chin than Oliveira has, and Oliveira also gets hurt badly by guys who are a lot less skilled, like Michael Negative Fight IQ Chandler, and also less powerful guys like Gaethje. And the difference between Topuria and them is, those guys are either too scared to fall him to the ground, or they're just not skilled enough to finish him on the ground, and they're just not as skilled as Topuria either. Topuria has nasty ground and pound and a really solid submission game as well. He rocked and submitted Bryce Mitchell, so I don't think it's impossible for him to follow Oliveira down, TKO him, or latch up an arm triangle or something like that. And he might not even need to follow him down, because there's a good chance, in my opinion, that he absolutely flatlines him, and that's actually what I'll be going with here. I think Topuria absolutely lays him out cold. He just has different power compared to Oliveira's former opponents, and he's also way better at delivering the punch to the chin than Oliveira's former opponents. And I don't think Oliveira's gonna be able to back up Topuria either. I think they're gonna get into an exchange where the mid-range king is gonna come up on top, man. But I think that's it for today, guys. I know that I haven't been uploading too much recently, but I'm back. Trust me, I'm back. So expect regular uploads like once or twice a week. But anyways, thanks for watching. Leave a like and subscribe if you enjoyed the video. Am I just a Division 1 Topuria Glacier, or do you agree with my breakdown? Let me know your thoughts in the comments, and also don't forget to share this to an Oliveira fan. And I'll see you all in the next one. Goodbye!